Hola, buenas tardes. Me da mucho gusto estar con ustedes. Soy Carlos Villaseñor de Student World. Bienvenidos de nuevo a un webinar más de Educación Internacional. Estamos en la serie de webinars de la Universidad de NUI Galway, National University of Ireland. Esta vez estamos con el College of Science and Engineering. Nos da mucho gusto estar con Katie Flannery. How are you, Katie?
Hi, everybody. Hi, Carlos. Thank you for having us here today.
Thanks to you. It's a pleasure, and we are really grateful because the hour in Ireland is much more later than in Mexico, so double grateful. And
Not a problem.
Thank you, Katie. And we have also a very important lecturer in NUI Galway with a lot of international experience in science, Andrew Laus. How are you, Andrew?
It's nice to be here. Hola to everybody.
Muchas gracias, Andrew. Thanks, Andrew. I want to comment that this webinar will be in English because Andrew and Katie only speak English. I don't speak English very well, but the most of you, I think, speak English according with the information that we have. How are you, Lorenzo, Sebastián, Christopher, Jael, Osiris? I hope you are hearing and watching well. Can you send me a message by the chat, please? Manden un mensajito para saber si nos están escuchando bien. Y bueno, pues déjenme empezar yo la presentación. Si me mandan un mensajito solo para saber que están escuchándonos bien. Hola, ¿cómo están? ¿Nos escuchan y nos ven bien? Okay. Thank you, Ciris. I want to share you the screen with all of you to talk about Ireland. Les voy a mostrar por qué Irlanda. What advantages have a student in Ireland? There are a lot. So let me talk about that and about the student world. Nosotros somos Student World, somos la agencia que está representando a estas escuelas de Irlanda en México. Así es que nosotros estamos muy contentos de estar aquí con con Galway University. Aquí van a ver cómo nos vamos en la aplicación de Google Earth hasta Galway y a la Universidad de NUI Galway, National University of Ireland. Esta es la localización de la universidad. Dentro de las ventajas, siempre cuando yo quiero resumir las ventajas de por qué estudiar en Irlanda, siempre me gusta mucho hablar del índice de desarrollo humano. Esta es una calificación que hace la ONU de todos los países del mundo, contando estabilidad social, ingreso per cápita, educación, servicio médico, etcétera. En esta clasificación siempre lleva ya varios años Irlanda que consistentemente queda en los primeros lugares. Entonces es muy, muy importante también porque esto se traduce en muchas ventajas para ustedes porque van a estar viviendo precisamente en un país desarrollado, en un país con un desarrollo humano, una economía y un potencial enorme. Entonces, pues también eso es muy importante para ustedes. Si ustedes checan este link que con mucho gusto lo pueden encontrar en Google simplemente poniendo índice de desarrollo humano, ustedes van a poder encontrar la lista. Irlanda está en el tercer lugar, solo después de Noruega y de Suiza. Es decir, que Irlanda es un país que tiene un momento muy importante. Los servicios, simplemente para que ustedes se den cuenta, durante la pandemia los estudiantes estuvieron recibiendo más de 350 euros por semana durante 5 meses como apoyo del gobierno, para que vean un poco la economía y los servicios que tiene Irlanda. Otra cosa muy importante es que nosotros como mexicanos tenemos una excelente relación con Irlanda. desde aquel histórico acontecimiento cuando el batallón de San Patricio, un día en México en 1847, se despertaron la noticia con que los invasores norteamericanos habían ahorcado en San Ángel a soldados irlandeses. Esto es el batallón de San Patricio, que peleó al lado de México. Al final ganaron varias batallas, pero perdieron en el convento de Churubusco y pues murieron. Era un batallón de 600, la mayoría murió, solo algunos quedaron y sufrieron la prisión perpetua. Nosotros estamos, Student World fue invitado por el gobierno de Irlanda para trabajar con sus universidades, con Education in Ireland, así es que nosotros estamos muy ligados también a esta importante oficina del gobierno irlandés que nos da todo el apoyo, y eso se ha traducido en que esta excelente educación de calidad, en conjunto con agencias seleccionadas por el gobierno, nos dan todo esto que es el soporte que ustedes necesitan, y pues desde luego que lo más importante es su seguridad, así es que entre el gobierno de Irlanda, las escuelas, nosotros estamos trabajando juntos para que ustedes puedan irse a estudiar con la máxima seguridad. Y pues bueno, también les quiero compartir que nosotros hemos estado trabajando con el gobierno de Irlanda, visitando las universidades, etcétera. Entonces, también hemos visitado la Embajada de México en Irlanda. Aquí está la Embajada de México. Esta es una de las últimas reuniones que tuvimos con la embajadora Jones. Por cierto, aquí está Adrian Larkin, de University of Galway. Y bueno, pues también estuvimos en Dublín. Hemos estado visitando Dublín, para conocer Dublín y todas las ciudades importantes como Galway. Y bueno, pues Galway también lo hemos estado visitando. Y tenemos una escuela de inglés muy buena para los que necesitan inglés. Katie, I'm doing publicity for Galway Cultural Institute.
Very good. I recognize some of the pictures.
Porque ellos son David es cónsul honorario de México en Galway. Por eso, pero aparte de eso, es una escuela que tiene el certificado YALC. Entonces, bueno, pues también tenemos, para los que les falta inglés, tenemos esta oportunidad y bueno, pues también hemos estado nosotros ahí disfrutando de todas las ventajas de Galway y de los clips de Moher. Entonces, bueno, esta es mi introducción. Les dejo con Katie Flannery. Katie, go ahead, please.
Great, thank you, Carlos. I think I might be repeating now some of the things you said. I'm not quite sure, but I will share my presentation with you anyway. And I thank you for that introduction. So let me pull it up here. So here we go. Okay, can you see my presentation okay?
Yes.
Great. Okay, so I'll get started then. So thank you, Carlos. So as Carlos said, my name is Katie Flannery. I work in the International office here in the National University of Ireland, Galway. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Galway, Ireland, our university, and, you know, just some of the benefits of coming to study with us. And then Andrew is going to explain more about the College of Science and Engineering. And then I'll tell you about the practical side of coming to the National University of Ireland, Galway, including how to make your applications, scholarships, and accommodation, all those kinds of things. So let's get started then. Some good news, first of all, to start with, that we received last year. So the National University of Ireland, Galway, ranked achieved its highest ever ranking in the World University Rankings last year, coming 238th in the world, and that's in QS World University Rankings. And not only have we ranked among the top universities in the world, but 4 of our researchers have been named amongst the world's most influential scientific minds. So, you know, if you have a curious and scientific mind, the National University of Ireland Galway is perfect for you, as we are a research-led university and we do have amazing academics teaching on our programs. So then, to tell you a bit more about Ireland in general, although I think Carlos did a really good overview of Ireland too. So Ireland is the only English-speaking country in the Eurozone, and we're in a great location in terms of Europe as well. So Ireland is a really friendly and it's a really safe country too. So you'll be happy to know that, and I'm sure your parents will be happy to know that too. Okay, we're globally connected. Our location on the edge of Europe means that we're an attractive destination for multinationals from all over the world. We have good ties to American companies, European companies, and companies from further afield as well. And Ireland it's a good base to have if you do want to travel as well around Europe, maybe if you come to study here. As I mentioned, the university has a really strong research focus, and you know, the government really invests strongly in research and education, and the university certainly benefits from it. And you have the option to stay back after your studies. So if you are joining us for an undergraduate degree, you will have a year stay back visa where you can work for a year after your studies. And if you're joining us for a postgraduate, a 1-year postgraduate degree, you get to stay back for 2 years afterwards. And there's options then to stay on for longer depending on your employment status. So to tell you now a little bit more about our university. So it was founded in 1845 as a research-led university, and it's one of the oldest and largest universities in the country. It's made up of 4 primary colleges. So we've got the College of Arts, Social Sciences and Celtic Studies, the College of Business, Public Policy and Law, the College of Medicine, Nursing and Health Science, and today we'll focus on the College of Science and Engineering. We also have 3 sister colleges. We've got the Shannon College of Hotel Management, which is the only one of its kind in the country. We have St. Angela's, Sligo, and we also have the Byrne College of Art. And you can find more about our sister colleges on our website as well. The campus is situated, the campus has over 90 hectares of land, lots and lots of buildings. We're in the middle of a €400 million construction project, and this is the largest amount of money to be spent on a university at the moment. So while our facilities are amazing, we're constantly improving so that the students really get the best of the education that we can provide. So where we're based then? So we're based in Galway, the National University of Ireland, Galway. And Galway is on the west coast of Ireland. We're on a trail called the Wild Atlantic Way. I don't know if you've heard of it before, but this is a coastal drive from north to southern Ireland, and it's one of the longest coastal drives in the world. Galway is at the very centre of, it's in the middle of this drive, and it means that we get lots of visitors from around the world. It's a culture and the arts are one of the it's the cultural hub of Ireland. It's a really dynamic, vibrant city, and it's really well known for things like innovation, creativity, the medtech sector, and industry, marine ecology, and our economy. So, we've got people coming from all over the world to both work here and to live here as well. And so it means that it's a very diverse city. There's always lots going on, very nice atmosphere. And as I mentioned, it is the cultural hub. The university itself is situated about 10 minutes from the city centre and about a 15-minute walk to the beach. The city has very good connections as well in terms of transport. So, we're well connected to Dublin. The capital is a 2-hour drive away, which has an airport, and Shannon Airport is an hour away. And then, you know, there's lots of buses and trains within the city and to other places in the country as well. It's been named as the best in travel by the Lonely Planet, as, you know, world's most charming city, world's friendliest city, to name but a few. So I'll tell you a little bit more even still about Galway and, you know, what to do, what you can do here. So as I mentioned, you'll see along this blue line, this is the Wild Atlantic Way, and this is where our university is situated. So right on the coast, we've got Dublin Airport, Shannon Airport, Cork Airport, and they're really well connected to Europe. So it's the third largest city in Ireland, and it's on the west coast, the Wild Atlantic Way. And it's a city of festivals of culture and the arts. So you might be looking at these pictures and thinking, oh my gosh, where am I going to travel to? And these pictures are both from one of our biggest festivals called Galway Arts Festival. And this takes place every summer, where we've got artists from all around the world. You know, we've got street art, theatre, film festival, food festivals, and all these different cultures coming together. So it makes it a very dynamic and lively city, and there's plenty to see and do. You know, even if, you know, and that's not just in the summer, it's throughout the year. There's always things on. And even in the quieter months, you know, there's still plenty of ways to explore the city or explore the nearby countryside. One thing that I really like about Galway is that, you know, you get to have an Irish city experience, but about an hour, you know, not even an hour outside the city, half an hour outside the city, you're in the countryside. So you really get the best of both worlds when you come to Galway. You get that city, you have the seaside, you also have the countryside nearby. So, you know, when you go to college, one thing you are thinking about is, what am I going to do afterwards? Where will I work? What will I be? You know, and how will my education really, you know, pave this way for me? So the National University of Ireland Galway has a 98% employability rate, and we really you know, help to prepare our students for the workforce. So we have the 2-year state back visa scheme, which I mentioned for postgraduate students, or 1 year for undergraduate students. Galway itself is a global medtech hub. So we have lots of multinational companies based here in Galway, and not only medtech, but, you know, all different industries too. In wider Ireland as well, we've got headquarters from lots of different multinationals. We have Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Twitter, TikTok, Apple, SAP, KPMG, Deloitte, to name but a few. All of these companies are based in Galway or Ireland. And this means that, you know, when you come to study here, you don't need to move away after. You don't need to think, right, I'm only coming here to get my education and then I need to find somewhere else to live. No, you can come here and, you know, we will help you to network with these employers while you're here. You know, lots of our courses have been designed with industry in mind or in consultation with local industry leaders. So, you know, students really have the opportunity to network and to, you know, get a feel for the workplace even before they leave their course. So we do have a dedicated career development centre, which does provide one-on-one support and networking opportunities through things like CV writing skills, interview preparation, and our virtual career, it's virtual this year, but our careers fair, where employers come to campus to recruit new graduates. And it's a great way to see what jobs are out there for you, see what you might want to do, and to network with prospective employers before you graduate. We do have the 98% employability rate for recent graduates within 6 months of them finishing their course. And lots of our courses have either a work placement or a study abroad opportunity as well. And all of these will help to, you know, both enrich your college and your life experience and also help you with your employability afterwards. And then these are just some of the companies that are based in Galway that you might like to work at. So when you come to the National University of Ireland, Galway, you're already coming to a global campus. According to the most recent census, Galway is the most international city in Ireland, and the National University of Ireland, Galway is the most international university as well. We have over 4,000 international students each year, and I think 35% of our staff are from overseas as well. It means that, you know, you can stay connected with people from all over the world. You can stay connected to your own culture while you're here. You also have the opportunity to meet people from new cultures. And, you know, you're coming to a city and to a place where multiculturalism is really at the heart of it. And there's already that sense of community. And it's a much more enriching experience for international students who travel here and for Galwegians like myself who, you know, it just makes our city more vibrant. So that sense of community is already there. Now, the cost of living in Galway, we would say that if you're coming to study with us, we would say to budget about €10,395 to be precise, 10,500 maybe for your cost of living for the year. This depends on how you like to spend your money, so you need to have a think about that before you come, and you know what's realistic in terms of how you can set your budget. It takes into account things like rent, bills, food. You know, there's lots of different ways you can live budget friendly in Galway, or there's lots of experiences where you can splash your money too if that's what you like to do. And you know, so before you come, this is something to think about. Is this what you want, and how do you see yourself living when you come to college? We have some accommodation options for you to choose from, okay? And that's also something that you can think about before you come. We have some on-campus accommodation, and that varies in price from $3,750 to $6,760, depending on the type of accommodation you want to stay in. You know, whether you want an apartment, whether you want to share a room, whether you want a bigger living space, all these things you need to think about. We do reserve some... Yeah,
Katie,
sorry,
when you talk about the 3,750 per year, are you talking about how many months?
From September until about May.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and so that's the cost of accommodation, and the cost of living that I just broke down on the previous screen would include that. It would budget for the accommodation. So our on-campus accommodation, we reserve some spaces for first-year undergraduate students. So that's one less worry that you'd have. You know, it's very daunting to move country at the start, maybe, and you might think you have so much to think about. So if we can alleviate any of that stress, we will. And by saying we have saved a room for you, maybe you can focus on some other things like getting your visa, or, you know, packing your bags, or, you know, making that big move. If you don't want to stay on-campus accommodation, that's no problem. There's lots of private landlords nearby, you know, really nearby, within walking distance or bus distance, cycle distance, depending again where you want to live, and what your budget would allow for, or, you know, what you like. You might want to live beside the seaside, which I don't know where you all are now, but for me, when I moved to Galway, that was something that I really loved, is to be near the sea. But Galway is nice and small anyway. It's very walkable. And it is nice that it's quite near to the campus. So we have over 40 student ambassadors working with us at the moment, and you might like to see how you would live your life in Galway. And our student ambassadors are a great way to do this. So you can see them on our Instagram page, which I'll pop up at the end of this presentation. They'll be going through things like what to pack when coming to Galway, where I do my grocery shopping, you know, giving like little tips, also how they pick their courses. We have some podcasts with student ambassadors where you can hear about, you know, in detail about their course or their journey to the university. So I'll pop that link at the end of this presentation, and you can go and see them for yourselves and see, maybe you could imagine yourselves here. So before I tell you about the application process and all of that, I'm going to hand you over to Andrew. He's going to tell you lots more about the courses on offer and the College of Science and Engineering in particular.
Can you hear me there, everybody?
Yes.
Okay, here. So I'll share my screen now. And can you see my presentation here?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so I'll start from where Katie finished there. Remember, so my name is Andrew Laus, and I'm actually a lecturer in National University of Ireland, Galway, in biotechnology. So I know a lot about the biosciences, but I also have a role promoting our university, and especially in science and engineering, because I am in this College of Science and Engineering. So as Katie said, we have 4 different colleges in our university. We have arts, business and law, and then we have medicine, and then we have the best college, science and engineering here. Okay, and so our College of Science and Engineering has about 200 professors, so professors and lecturers. So that means researchers who also are teaching students. And then we have about another 400 researchers who are working, perhaps PhD students or professional scientists who are just doing pure research and not and don't do so much teaching. And we have about 4,500 students doing science and engineering all together. So you can see there's a nice picture here of our university. So this is our university, and you can see here is the hospital. It's right next door because we teach medicine. And then you can see this is Galway Bay, and that goes out to the Atlantic Ocean as well. So it gives you an idea about what Galway is like. And you can see from our university, it is about 15 minutes walk to get to the center of Galway here. So we're very central in this very nice, pleasant city by the sea. So what I want you to know a little bit about first, and I've already mentioned it a little bit just in that previous slide, was that we have a very close, a very tight mixture between our research and our teaching. So this is the advantage of a strong university like National University of Ireland, Galway, is this what we call research-led teaching. So people like myself have research laboratories, PhD students, scientists working for me at the same time as I'm teaching undergraduate students. I'm teaching master's students as well. And on top of that, we're very lucky that we have very good facilities for research and teaching, which bring these things together. So I wanted to show you, especially because we're very proud of it, 3 of the buildings that enable this. So the first one is our engineering building here. So you can see this was opened just under 10 years ago now, and you can see it's very nice beside the river here, which flows into the Atlantic Ocean. Okay, and this building is a living building in several ways. So you can see here, this is at the top on the front here. This is where a lot of the students can work, the PC suites, study rooms, those sorts of areas. But also the way that the building is designed allows the engineering students to make measurements of the stresses and the strains, the different energy usages of this building. So the building is not only a space, but it's also a laboratory in its own right where you can learn from it. The second building I want to show you is our Biomedical Science building. And I particularly like this building because it's where I'm based for biotechnology and biomedical science. And so this building was opened in 2015. So you can see we've been building, as Katie mentioned, a lot of buildings to expand, to give opportunities for our researchers and our students as well. And so here you can see this is or at the time when it was opened, this is the if you like, what we call the Taoiseach, the President of Ireland, effectively. So the leader of the Irish government came to open the building because he was very proud. They were very proud of our building and of our university as well. Okay, and then the third building I wanted to show you is our human biology building. So this building was opened more recently in 2017. So you can really see the buildings that we've been building. And this has anatomy, pharmacology, physiology. So the medical research and also teaching activities are in this building. So we're very proud of these buildings, the spaces that they give, the opportunities they give for our researchers and students. So obviously, where we like to do research which is useful for Ireland and for the world, and our research is centered around three main areas, I guess: biomedical science and engineering, around data, information technology and computation, and obviously with this beautiful countryside that we have, the Wild Atlantic Way coastal road that Katie was mentioning, the environment, the marine, and particularly energy and sustainability is the other pole, the other organization of our research. And so this little picture here, this little map shows our university here in the middle, and you can see all of these companies around our city providing employment opportunities and also providing ways to learn about things that make our degrees very relevant to the students. Okay, so what sorts of things can you learn in science and engineering at NUI Galway? So first, there's engineering, so our undergraduate engineering degree. So that can be a 4-year or a 5-year degree. You can either do a bachelor's or you can do the master's course, which is 5 years long. And we offer these 5 different options. So biomedical engineering, civil engineering, so that's building bridges and studying buildings. Energy engineering, because this is obviously becoming very important in the world today. Things like wind turbines and how we work with wastewater, those sorts of areas. Electrical and electronic engineering, and mechanical engineering as well. So if anybody asks, we don't have chemical engineering at our university. Okay, so 2 of the important things to know about our engineering degrees are that they have an integrated 8-month placement. So you go to work in a company full-time for 8 months as part of your degree. And our degrees are fully accredited by Engineers Ireland. So that means the professional engineering body, and they're recognized by what's called the Washington Accord, which means that they are internationally recognized to the high standards of engineers anywhere in the world. So they should be translatable, for example, to Mexico. And as an example of the sorts of things that our engineering students do, we have for quite a few years now been involved in one of these energy efficient car competitions that happens in Europe every year. And in 2018, we actually won an award. I think there are around 100 different engineering universities come to compete every year for this. And we won a Technology Innovation Award as part of that. So this is a student-led project. You can see all of the students here, and somewhere at the back, I think there's a smiling lecturer as well. So this is called the Geek Project here to look at how to make very energy efficient cars. You can also, if you have an engineering degree, you can do postgraduate engineering. So we offer this master's course, so a 1-year course in biomedical, civil, computer, energy, electronic, mechanical. So all of those engineering areas. Of course, you need to have an undergraduate, so a bachelor's of engineering to do this. And this is recognized as well. We also have, if you have a science degree, so if you have a bachelor's in science, it's possible to get a master's in science in biomedical engineering or mechanical engineering. So these are for non-engineering graduates who want to become mechanical or biomedical engineers. And then we have 2 additional courses in health and safety and in what we call enterprise systems, which is really manufacturing engineering, if you like. Okay, so these are masters in applied science. So there's a full range of undergraduate, so bachelor's and postgraduate masters in engineering available. The second area where we have a range of degrees is in information technology and computer science. So you can do a bachelor's in this degree, in a BSc in computer science and IT, and this also includes a 6-month industry placement, and that's a 4-year degree for that, for this bachelor's of science in computing science and IT. We alternatively, if you already have an undergraduate degree, so you want to do a master's degree, we have a master's or a higher diploma in data analytics, artificial intelligence, or software design. So there are 3 different masters or higher diplomas that you can do. And these are very, very popular with international students because data analytics, AI, software are very big growth industries. And Ireland is the European headquarters for Google and Facebook and Apple. So there are a lot of job opportunities in Ireland in this area.
Andrew, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. Higher diploma is like a transitional credential for people coming from another background.
Yes, so exactly. So a master, so if you have a computer science degree, okay, then you can get a master's. But if you don't have a computer science degree, if you had, for example, a biotechnology degree and you wanted to do these courses, then you can do a higher diploma. Okay, so a master's means you're a master of the area after you've been a bachelor's qualified student, whereas the diploma course is for people who come from a different area. And that was a little bit the same as we saw in the engineering here, where the engineers become masters of engineering, but people who aren't engineers become masters of science in those areas. Okay, so it's, I guess the interesting thing is that if you want to change areas, you want to come to National University of Ireland, Galway, to change your career direction after your bachelor's degree, we have opportunities for that, as well as continuing your career direction. Okay, and then the last part, I guess, of the options we have: engineering, computer science. We also have science here, so undergraduate science, so 4-year degree as well. And we have 2 different ways that you can study science. You can come and just say, I want to do science. And then gradually throughout those 4 years, you narrow down exactly which science you want to do. So we call these pathways, science pathways, and there are 17 different options. So all of the way from anatomy, biochemistry, to zoology, to chemistry, to physics, all sorts of options there amongst these 17. Or alternatively, if you already know what you want to do, for example, biomedical science or biotechnology, or even financial mathematics, then we have focused programs, and you can come and you can say, I want to do that, and then the options are already chosen for you. So you have these 2 ways. You can do one way where you gradually decide your choice, or the other way where you make your choice at the beginning and then everything is organized for you as you work through it. Okay, so the advantages of our degrees are that every student gets an individual final year research project. Okay, and so you can see here, actually this student was from Brazil, and she's working in my laboratory in her 4th year project. You can see she was taking some images on a microscope of some cells there. Okay, you can see that there's a lot of flexibility in our degrees, and these classes, particularly these focused programs here, they have very good class groups. So they're very good for international students because you can integrate and get to know international students and Irish students very quickly. And some of our science programs also have placements, for example, biotechnology and biopharmaceutical chemistry. Okay, and then lastly, we have postgraduate science. So this is masters in science. So if you already have a science degree, then we have 22 different masters that you can come to do. So you can do a master's in biotechnology or biomedical science, toxicology, genomics, lots of different options. And you can see that the students here do a lot of research as a component of their degree. So these masters are 12 months, so continuous 12 months. So 2 semesters of taught courses and 1 semester with a research project with a thesis at the end of it to complete our master's degree. So the very last slide, I just wanted to show you that I talked about our options for biomedical science, biomedical engineering, different types of engineering degrees, different types of information technology, computer science degrees. But because we're here in this beautiful place in the west of Ireland, you can see this is some scenery near where Katie comes from, I think. We also have a range of degrees related around this idea of sustainability and understanding the environment and how we can improve the way that we're working with it. So, for example, we have bachelor's degrees in environmental science and marine science, agricultural science or energy systems, and we have master's degrees here in sustainability and environmental type directions as well. And these are obviously very important types of degrees for us going forwards, for everybody on the planet going forwards. And I think I'd like to think that students were inspired to think about some of these opportunities as well. Okay, so just to finish off then, why would you want to come to National University of Ireland, Galway? Because we're a very high quality university with this research-led teaching, and we have this very big, wide range of courses. As Katie explained, we're a very welcoming and safe environment, so a very friendly place. Galway, it must be one of the friendliest places in the world. It's a very small and accessible city, and we already have lots of international students. And last but not least, when you come to Galway, Galway is the heart of Irish culture in many ways. And so this means that you're going to learn about Ireland and about the Irish culture, Irish music, and also enjoy the beautiful natural environment that you've seen as well. So I hope you found that interesting, and it gave you an insight into the different opportunities we have. And obviously, there are lots of different information sources online or on our prospectuses that we can help you to choose the degree that's right for you. Okay, that was the end of what I was going to say, so I'll hand you back to Katie now.
Okay, thank you. Really, really good presentation, Andrew. We know that you are a lecturer because it was very didactic.
Sorry about that. Well, you get a little free lesson at the same time this evening.
Yes, a free lesson. But it's really interesting to know that the photos appearing in the presentation are students, really students doing research or etc. No?
Yeah. No, exactly. And I think that's really important. Science and engineering, computer science are about doing things. They're not about just facts. They're about using facts. And so I think that that's a very important aspect of our degrees, is that students get the opportunities to actually work with the learning that they're doing. I think that's important.
Also about the last slide talking about the culture in Galway. By the way, let me comment that the last year Galway, it was the European capital of culture. Unfortunately, because the COVID, a lot of European events settled can't be developed, but it's a really, really amazing city for culture in all senses. So,
yes, definitely, it's
both the presentation, Katie, also your presentation, it was very, very useful and
No problem.
very nice. Thank you very much.
Would you like me to explain about how to apply?
Yes.
Yeah, I just have a couple of more points that I can share with you that might be useful for your students. So you can apply online with us. Our application system is open and it costs €35 to apply. So the fees for our courses vary between undergraduate and postgraduate students depending on what you're doing. So for undergraduate, it's about 15,000 to 22,000 per year. For a master's, a postgraduate, it's about 17 to 22,000 for the 1-year program. So that's your fees, and then you'd need to think about your cost of living as well. So it costs €35 to apply, and with this €35, you can make 2 applications. So I would always say to have one course that's your favorite and a second course that you're kind of interested in as well. And that way, you have options. I wanted to mention also about our scholarships, because I know that's a really popular question. We do have some scholarships available. So our first is our Latin American scholarship. This is worth €4,000. We have 2 of these awards, okay? So it's competitive, but if you are, if your academics are there, your extracurriculars are there, I would encourage you to apply. Can't hurt to apply. So we have an application form that you fill out along with your application to your course. We have undergraduate and postgraduate merit-based scholarships. These are worth €2,000. We have a number of these awards at both levels. And again, this is done through an application form on our website. And lastly, the Government of Ireland scholarship. That's a full fee waiver and a €10,000 stipend. So that's obviously a really, really good scholarship to get. There are 60 of these awarded to international students coming into Ireland. So it's really competitive. You can find more information on our scholarships page through our website. And the link to all of those scholarships is all there as well on how to apply. So for students from Mexico, you have some entry requirements to meet. And we're always a Zoom call away or an email. We can help you to see if you meet the entry requirements, and maybe if not, how you can meet them, okay? So you need to have some previous qualifications, which are listed here, to join us for our first year. If you don't have these, you can go to study, you can study a foundation program, which we can put you in touch with our education partners who provide foundation courses. Or Carlos will be able to tell you some as well. And then for our postgraduate entry requirements, we have our entry requirements there as well. And also some courses have a few more specific entry requirements, so you'd need to check that out. That's all on the course webpage. We have our English language entry requirements. So you need to have an IELTS score of 6.5. Now this year we are taking Duolingo, which you can do online, and that's a minimum score of 110. If you don't meet these requirements, so if you don't meet the English language requirements, we do have an alternative route of entry for you, provided you're meeting every other requirement. So we have an English language centre that offers some pre-sessional programs. So we have one 10-week English program and one 25-week English program. And these are intensive English courses where you come to the university or possibly online this year, and you study, and then you need to meet, a certain exam score when you leave. And once you do this, then you can gain entry onto the course. So how you apply. Our applications are open, as I mentioned. So it costs €35 to apply, and you can apply for 2 courses. The applications are judged on a rolling basis. So that means when one course is full, the application portal for that course closes. So it's important that if you make your decision, or if you're nearly there, it's better to get it in sooner rather than later. And we'll tell you what you need if there's anything extra. As I said, we're always just a phone call, an Instagram message, an email, a Zoom call away from helping you. and advising you if you're confused about what course to pick, what documents we'd need or anything. We're always here to help. So thank you so much for your attention, and thanks to Andrew and Carlos as well. We're happy to take any questions if you have any.
Thank you, Katie. It's really, really interesting. Only I have the first question is on my behalf, about the students looking for an engineering bachelor degree. The requirements for the high school in Mexico are they must to have pre-calculus or mathematics, physics, and chemistry, Andrew?
So for engineering, there's definitely a mathematics requirement, and I'm not sure if it's 1 or 2 sciences that you need. So here I have the little book here, so I will check for you exactly what they need. There's a mathematics requirement, and also here I'll have to check. Katie, do you happen to know
I don't
that?
know off the top of my head, Andrew, for the specific engineering courses.
Yeah, I think that you need 2 sciences for that. Normally an engineering student would have physics and 1 other science, either chemistry or biology in Ireland to be doing engineering.
Okay. Beside these requirements, Katie, the student looking for an undergraduate in NUI Galway must to have a foundation year or an university year in Mexico or their country, no, of residence.
Yes, so it depends on their previous education. If they have received, exited my slideshow where I have my entry requirements. But if they have the salida lateral or carrera corta with a minimum of 7.5, or the tuition técnico after 2 or 3 years of study with the 7.5, they can come directly into first year. If they don't have that, then they would do a foundation year.
Okay. And about the start dates, all courses starts only in September, right?
That's correct.
Okay. And the last question, because the students are not asking, Andrew, the job or professional placements are where they have place in the middle of the bachelor, at the end.
For both science and engineering, the 4-year degrees, they are at the end of in the second half of the 3rd year.
Second half of the 3rd year.
Okay, and so in year 3.
Okay, you have to have a minimum GPA to participate?
So for the engineering degrees, it's a requirement of the degree that you have to do the placement. So it's not, so everybody who is passing the degree will do a placement. In the science degrees, so biotechnology and biopharmaceutical chemistry, there is a selection. So you do have to have a minimum level within the degree, but usually almost all students have suitable levels. So over 80% of the students in science where there is a placement would go on the placement.
Okay, and the last question is about your area. Mm-hmm. Biotechnology and biomedicine. We have a lot of students asking for this kind of courses, and NUI Galway is, I think, the best in some programs, the unique university in Ireland offering this kind of courses. So, what you can talk about a little more in depth about your faculty?
So I think I'll tell you a little bit about biotechnology. So there's 2 ways of thinking about biotechnology. So some people think about it as making biopharmaceuticals in a factory. So making a COVID vaccine, for example, that is biotechnology. And Ireland is actually a very large producer of biopharmaceuticals, vaccines, these sorts of products. So we're actually, it's actually one of the largest products in our entire economy, because many of the very large American biopharmaceutical companies have production facilities in Ireland. So there are lots of jobs in that area. But the other way to think about biotechnology is that it's about understanding biological science and finding ways to use this knowledge to create new products. So there are whole areas of creating new types of food, for example, using molecular biology, using DNA and proteins, which are very exciting, which are not biopharmaceuticals. They're different types of opportunities. In the same way, finding ways to make the planet greener, more efficient, more energy efficient using biological approaches is also possible. So I think biotechnology, I'm biased because I teach it, but I think biotechnology is a really exciting area for that reason, because you can make these important drugs, COVID vaccines, these sorts of things. I mean, biotechnologists are the people who are going to save us from COVID at the end of the day. Or alternatively, you can go and make all of these new exciting things by using this knowledge we now have of biology. So, does that sort of explain why it's an exciting time for biotech?
Yes, sounds so exciting.
It is. It genuinely is a great opportunity, I think, biotechnology.
And also, before to start, you was comment about your experience in different countries. Can you comment again what countries and universities have you been studied?
Okay, yeah. So I'm originally from New Zealand. So I did my undergraduate degree in New Zealand. In a university, actually, which is a little bit like NUI Galway, not such a beautiful place, but quite similar to NUI Galway. And then I spent some time in Australia as well, as an undergraduate student, doing summer studentships and projects in the Australian National University in Canberra. And then I was lucky enough to go to do my PhD in Zurich in Switzerland. And after that, I spent 7 or 8 years in Scotland, in the United Kingdom. And then finally, they gave me a job in Ireland. So I have been in Ireland for 15 years now. So I've been internationally around quite a lot of different places. And I think, you can go anywhere. I mean, I'm an example because I've been halfway around the planet with my degree, with my science. And so you can go anywhere and do anything with a science degree, same with an engineering degree as well. So from Mexico, you could go anywhere with a qualification from NUI Galway or any other university.
Okay. Thank you, Andrew. Of course, I want to take classes with you.
You haven't seen my exam questions.
No, it sounds very interesting, really. And the university, the background, the companies, the facilities for international students, all these the advantages are really interesting, I think, for the most of the students, mainly from Latin America, that we are looking for these opportunities. So we are very happy having the opportunity to promote this important college at NUI Galway. Thank you very much, Katie.
Thank you, Carlos. That was excellent. It was great to meet some of your students virtually and to be able to present them the opportunities that we have. So thanks for organising it.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Andrew.
You're most welcome. And of course, as Katie said, you can easily contact us to get information about any of our courses or about any questions that anybody has. We're very happy.
It's a deal. We will be taking your word. And for the students asking about if the webinar is recorded, yes, it's recording and will be sending to you. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Carlos.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I hope having you in Mexico after the pandemic.
Yeah, Katie and I were saying we would love to come to Mexico very soon.
We're on our way. Thanks.
Have a good night in Ireland. Thank you very much.
Thank you
for inviting us. Bye-bye.
Bye.